Hi, Adam Spears here with Cross Country Mortgage again. So this week I wanted to discuss appraisals. There's been a lot of questions that I've been receiving regarding appraisals, appraisal waivers, time, what's the likelihood of getting an appraisal waiver, and so I wanted to address those head on because with how busy our industry currently is, there's just not enough kind of appraisers to go around. So they might be taking a little bit longer than normal. So I wanted to address that kind of head on as well. But back to appraisals themselves and like our ability as lenders to get appraisal waivers. So when we have a property under contract, the way that we determine whether or not on a purchase, if we can get an appraisal waiver, is basically how we structure the deal. So a lot of what goes into it is, what your down payment is, what the loan program is. The two major kind of things that are going to determine that are going to be on the conventional side through Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac. So what they do is basically we structure the loan based on the purchase price, and we put your entire loan file together. We then run it through one of the two automated underwriting systems that Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac have. Now, when we run your file through, they check a lot of things like debt to income ratio, they look at credit score, and just kind of everything in the way that we've structured the loan. But one of the main things they look at is what we've input for home value. And it's really determined by Fannie or Freddie on whether or not they accept the home at that value. Now, if they don't have any record of the home, if perhaps it's a new build, someone's lived in the home for 30 years, there might not be some up-to-date information. Therefore, that's what ends up garnering an appraisal. Now, if they do have recent, information on a property, as well as, they trust the value that we enter, then it comes back and we get what's issued. We get a PIW. It's called a property inspection waiver. Now, a lot of people think that falls on the lender. It does not. We really don't get a say in whether or not we can get an appraisal waiver. It does come from those two lending bodies. So, but again, sometimes we can get them. We've been getting them more and more likely when people are putting more down, obviously, people putting 25% down. So that's going to be on the purchase side. On the refinance side, it's still done very similar. So, if you're refinancing your house and you only owe, so much and we estimate that the value could be here, again, it's whether or not Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac accept that value. And that in itself will be what gets us an appraisal waiver. So those are great scenarios, and we love to get appraisal waivers for our clients simply because it saves money, obviously first and foremost, but saves time on the transaction. And less hands in the cookie jar, I guess. So after that, if it's deemed that you do need an appraisal, the way that we do it is we actually take a deposit. We then order the appraisal through a third party. It's our appraisal management company. They reach out to the appraiser, they book it, they schedule it. We don't really have a whole lot of say or contact with the appraiser. We have to message them through their management system. So, that's really what I wanted to talk about as far as, when an appraisal needs to be done is I don't have a whole lot of control. And a lot of that times it comes back, where an appraisal's at, or where are we in the appraisal process. So just again, one of those things that I really wanted to tackle head on is, it's, as a lender and as the realtors that we work with, we don't have a whole lot of say in what goes into the appraisal time, appraisal management, and how they're going to or when they're going to deliver the appraisal. So wanted to touch on that. But if you have any questions on appraisals, if you think we can get an appraisal waiver, whether or not, if you're refinancing or purchasing a home and you have additional questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can always reach me here at my email or my cell phone. And as always, we'll see you next week.